Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wolf Den Trader Takeaways. It's the Wolf, your host. We're super excited to have you guys today. We were up in 2, 4, 6, 7 trades, a couple swings. It was a great day. So let's just go ahead with that and hop right over into executions. Now, off the rip, RBZ is lighting up my scanners and the rooms that we're in pre-market. Now, we developed this trade thesis from the filing. So now real quick, we're going to hop over to the Wolf Trading Discord room. That's open enrollment right now. We'd love to get you guys in here and see what you guys are trading and your strategies and theses. But we notice RBZ has 200,000 shares at 650 and 400,000 shares at $5 based off of the recent D-filing. Now, they had some 424s out on this liquidity or this overhead supply, and majority of people, including myself, until I noticed this filing right here tucked away in the D, baby, we thought that that was gone as well based off of previous price action off of this right here. Now here's the Jumbotron. We noticed that this thing is wicking at $40. Come on, now we know what time it is, right? You guys seen enough of these charts? Let's just go ahead and zoom into the main consolidation so we get a real quick look at what's going on. Now the range on this play right here was only 75 cents. Look at the relative volume. Now, little tip on the volume, I'm going to give you one. Get your pens ready. So the 10-day average volume is only 200K, but let's look at the 90-day relative volume. We're trading at 8% as opposed to 18 times the 10-day. So it just gives you a layered look at when the momentum, when the attrition is coming into the stock. Let's go ahead and just take a look at executions. So RBZ, now I got in this one in pre-market. Was watching the order flow on this. It was strong all pre-market, right? Trending up. And then we open up. Sellers are in control. Now we had a little bit from 444 to 438 is just a slight decline into the bell. But for some reason, I think that whichever way the stock is trading into the bell just seems to give it inertia, I guess. It just seems to follow that. That's just a speculation. We'll be continuing to track that. So sellers take control. We get a little bit of just weakness, right? So I hit the tape right here at 442. Now we come down. I'm not looking for a home run on this, right? Because I believe that there are orders or there's overhead supply at $5 and 650. So I trim right here off of basic previous pre-market support levels, and I take a majority of the position, I believe 75% of the position at least off, and then we shoot up. Now I reported in the room that I'm not touching this thing under VWAP. So we start to push, and we have a nice little range right here, right? 933, we go from 420 almost all the way up to 478. Now I'm watching the tape here, especially at the passover or the cross of VWAP. That's going to give me a little clue as how high this thing can go. Now I jumped in small size right here, 64 and 61. Looking to put a more size up top at 473 and 75. Now I caught shout out in the room that I was looking to lean into a $5 line. Actually, I was looking to scale into $5 line. I had a 518 hard stop. I was looking for more strength, but these guys just kind of exhausted themselves literally, and we had a high at 479. I might come back for those warrants tomorrow or the next day, but we're trading today. Now we get a nice little flush, and I'm taking profit. I'm getting dialed in right now. I'm feeling confident in my ability to read the order flow, and if I'm in a rhythm, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to trade it. Now the only mistake really here was trimming a position about a quarter of the position off of an average that was above where I trimmed. So in the money trim, just to protect myself in case we do want to push up into $5, I can put more size up there and bring my average up and give me a better risk to reward off of that 518 stop. Now, so I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking in front of the tape. That did not happen. We continue to see weakness, and I continue to sell off the position after this trim. Now, we start to consolidate right here like kind of in a wedge at 936. The range is getting tighter and tighter. Now, when the range starts to get tighter and we start to wedge, symmetrical wedge, any types of wedges, right, or descending or ascending flags, or triangles, when we start to get a focal point, now that means that you need to be laser focused on the order flow, because basically it's a condensed and it's a condensed expansion, so everybody's watching. So at this point, it's almost like a starter fuel where whoever starts, they're gonna have inertia to this move. So the faster the better on these types of plays. So I predict weakness, and after I start to see confirmation, early confirmation, I take it. And now this is not like me to hit the bid, but I knew that we were still relatively extended off of yesterday's close at 377. So I hit the bid and boom, bada bing, we hit that flush, baby. That's what we like. I take some profit based off of this support right here. And now I'm in a winner. Now I bring my stop down to a little bit above this support right here. So 453, I have a hard stop out. And now I'm just setting targets. I want to trim a little bit more off right here in this area. And now I'm setting another target out here based off of this short-term support, right? So I'm just using short-term technicals as support. And then I believe I have maybe 1/8 or 1/4 of the position left, and I'm just looking for the all-day fade. I noticed too that 425, we had a decision point right here. I decided not to add to the position and recycle right here, just being so far under VWAP and so late in the day. Now, I did not actually get filled. I have a 406 order on that last quarter, that last eighth, and I'm looking at the level 2 right now, and I'm just wanting that offer to come down. Offers are at 417. The bids are at 403. So let's just see if we can get this fill right here while we're making the video. That would be sweet. All right, so that was the first trade. Now let's hop over to TIGR. Now TIGR was another pre-market runner. They pushed this up first thing in the morning, and now we're just showing weakness. So here's a major consolidation here in between 615 and excuse me, 630. This is where the meat of the pre-market volume is, and we just get really loose right here, and we're just weak. I don't know what was if there was fundamentals behind this one or not, but I noticed, and I normally don't jump in down here. I would put orders out just under 609. I had orders at 608 and 604, maybe 598 right here. That was they grabbed me right here, but this extremely weak tape, and I had the FOMO on this one, so I entered in at 593, and this flat consolidation was just really heavy. There was no range in this, and that's why I just leaned in early. And then again, we open up weak now. So we had a little last push at 599. So we have a $6 failure coming into the bell. We open up around 593. Now that's not much. It's only 7 cents, even relative to the stock itself, which is, 0.8 or not even 1% of a move, but it's still a move going into the bell. And if we see weakness or strength going into the bell, we tend more so than not to continue that, at least on the initial appearance of the bell. So with that said, I jump in, I add some more size. Sellers are in control. Now I let this one breathe for a little bit because we did have a small consolidation here, and there's not really any resistance here. In my opinion, the volume here relative to this consolidation is small. So I expect that if we're going to push through this resistance right here. We do not. I give it a second. I catch this one coming on the way down. The tape is just red. I'm looking at the tape on TIGR. I'm in a core position on RBZ, but I'm quick enough now. These hot keys are starting to pay off. I add into the position, and then we get a little bit of a flush. Now, being in multiple core positions or multiple executions did force me to set targets, and I could not spend as much mental capital on this trade as I wanted to. I had targets out here just to protect myself. Now I'm protecting myself because my average is about 597, is low relative to where price is at. Price is only at 580. I'm only 10 cents under my average. I'm going to protect myself here. I hope that makes sense to you. So then now we start to flush, and my targets are all set. You're looking at passive liquidity that's set in front of the tape, and we're starting to get fills. Now I'm focused on RBZ, and we're crushing the order flow on RBZ that you just saw, but these are all profits, and I probably take a glance at this. I know what's going on, but I think this was the first time I had a chance to breathe and readjust targets based off of current order flow consolidation right here between 935 and 946. So about 10 minutes, this consolidation, I set targets out off of the new support, and then basically just setting targets out on this off of short-term technicals. That's how we do it, right? This is another winner. So we're in multiple winning positions at the bell, which is new for us, and we're just looking to get better every single day, and we're glad that you guys are with us. Any questions or comments, let me know. Would really be happy with just hearing what you guys have to say or what you guys want me to help introduce to this series. Now, this was a really good one right here. This one is special to me. We're taking that last little bit off, tiny piece at 523. Now, I held on to this one because I just wanted this one low. The ADF, low a day, LOD, all day fade. We just wanted it, and we got it. We held out for it. This is I think Warren Buffett said the markets is a medium for the impatient to pay the patient. And usually I'm the one that's paying money for my lack of patience. But this execution right here is an example of an exemplary example of patience. So with that, let's move over to BPTH. Now BPTH, you guys remember this thing pushed to like 77 or 73 bucks not too long ago after a 1 for 20 reverse split. So this one, low float, extremely low float. So I needed something to risk off of. I'm not going to try to catch a top on this bad boy. So we wicked at 1650. Now this thing was massively spready. I remember this now. 20, 30 cent spreads was the norm. Catching 50, 60 cent spreads at the resistance and support. The majority of the spreads were up top. So, we come back up. Now, I like these wicks here. It shows me that there's medium-sized players. There can't be large players on this because look at the volume. The volume is really tiny on this. It was almost dangerous to play any size with this type of volatility spread and volume. But I used small size on this, and I had something to risk off of, and I was just dialed in on the order flow today. So, risking off of high a day, I took some fills here, chased some fills. I remember trying to get in here. I had an order out at like 1670, no fill, 1650. Like I'm chasing this thing. I'm not going to lie. I was chasing this thing. This was my first fill down here at 1537. And then it comes up and catches one of my orders at 1572. And then at this point, I'm watching this. I had some orders up here, but this spread is massive. I do not get filled. The bid doesn't come up. And now we flush. And we're starting to push up. We might be forming an ascending triangle. Not sure, but I don't know. This is like one leg on the 1 minute chart. Here we go, like wave 2. This thing can go to 40 bucks. I have no idea. I'm just scalping the order flow, basically, just riding the tape out. So then we push up right here. I trim the position like 2 or 3 cents outside of my first ad, but it is an in the money trim, since I'm averaged in at about 1558 right now. So then we come up, it comes up a little bit against me. Now I'm not as concerned because I trimmed. So I trimmed this position. I trimmed half the position off, barely in the money. This isn't too alarming. Now, if I'm at my average on a starter size, I'm more inclined to actually add up here than I am to cut slightly out of money. So this small trim is a psychological game changer for me. That's just how I personally feel. I don't want to be sized in and not in the money. I don't think anybody does. So then now I set a target out off of this support right here. Now this is not the best catching, but like I said, the spread was massive on this and I just wasn't dialed in as I normally am on this. But I did not catch a target down here, probably because my size was so small. I think this was half off, quarter off, so I have one more quarter left, looking for a fill around 14 bucks, which I still am. Then we come up and I add I had 1.5 times my original size, which is a very, very large add relative to the initial entry. I think it was because the range and the spread started to die down a little bit, and I also waited for confirmation. Now, I didn't catch this add, which was 1525. I didn't catch it on the front of this push, right? I waited for confirmation. We see some wicks, we see some liquidity pushing this thing down, and then we see a final touch of VWAP and a failure. Now the offers must be stacking for me to come in, and if I'm going to enter on that type of size relative to the beginning, I must have some confirmation, which I got here, and I was correct because we get a little bit of a flush, and I like what I see. Now I'm in the money today. All of my trades were winners except for one, MAXR, which I'll pull up shortly. But I was a little bit less risk adverse today. I let this one play out. Now, I know BPH, I know what time it is with this thing, but I don't know when they can just come in on this low volume and just push this thing out. They're going to squeeze me out. But there's not enough volume in here, I don't think. There's not enough people in here, in my opinion, for them to want to squeeze this out. I think they're just trying to close higher and they're trying to force an uptrend. That's just all speculative information. So I add some decent size on the recycle, and now I'm just taking targets out. 1473 is a third of the new size. 1430 is another third. So here's 2/3 of this recycle right here. And now I'm still looking for this $14 fill. Now, this is just kind of more like a psychological target. I'm already in the money. Something about just grabbing 1403. I want it. These guys are not giving it to me. I'm being stubborn and I'm holding it. I'm holding it to them because I want this fill. Now this is going against me right here. As long as we don't get up above 15 bucks, I'm going to keep this order out. I might even carry it overnight. It's a tiny order. I just want that 1403 fill. All right, OVID. Now OVID, this was a great trade. Now this is around the same time when I was in TIGR and RBZ core. But I remember this trade. Now, I'll just show you what I was looking at. What gave me the confidence to basically, with a blind catalyst, enter on this. So here's a 276 line. Now all of my lines are they're already filled in based off of the volume profile from last time when this thing ran. Every time we see a runner, and I'll show you guys in the runner room, or I should call it the weapon room, that's what it has been for us lately. I mark these levels off of the 3-year volume profile. So I have confidence in these levels. I spend time marking these levels correctly because I know I'm going to use them for entries. So I entered this position based off of this marking that I marked maybe a week ago, because I have trust in that. Now, I did have a tight stop on that. Now, I know this was a 276 entrance, and an entry, and I had a 281, 267, and I had a 276, and I had a 281 hard stop. So I knew I was risking 5 cents, and the way this trade planned out was a great risk reward. Now you can see I did get a little nervous when we wicked right here. Coming down, I decided to trim off half of the position. I had an initial target here, and I had my secondary target at 233. Now I forfeited the 233 target just to ensure a winner. Now once I take this first trim, this is half of the position. My stop, in theory, should come down to break even. But with this setup being a 5 cent stop, I'm not going to mess with that, and I'm also in other trades. But normally, once we take a first trim and we're in the money, the stop should come down to the execution of the initial entry or the entry average. So 276 should have been my stop. I would have been stopped out on this wick, but it doesn't change the rules. So then I have half the position left. I had a full exit here at 253, and that's just a beautiful trade. It's a tight risk, beautiful RR. The average of these two exits gives me, I believe, a 263, which ultimately gave me a 2.8 risk reward off the 5 cent stop. Now let's take a look at the only loser of the day, MAXR. Now MAXR is a little bit larger of a cap, and this thing was moving. This thing has a little bit higher of an institutional ownership, and they were pushing it. Now I have a heart. If you see a green line on my chart, that's a decision point. That's a DP. I'm going to pay close attention to this, and I expect every decision point on my chart to have a continuation move. So I expect there to be indecisiveness on this line, but I expect this line to be respected. So here you can see we pushed through it, sat on top of it, flushed, came back, retest, back over top, tested it, push, come back, tested it, push. So that just confirms that this 911 level is an essential part. It's a decision point based off of previous resistance and volume deposits. So here's the 911 line right here. So I get in a little bit early. Now I was waiting. I was hoping that we would find 870 support and we would push up to form a right shoulder. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We did not. Now, these guys are good, right? They blew right past that, making this look extremely weak. Now, when they did that, they created a false downtrend, right? Because now we have a lower low, and then essentially we're going to form a lower high. This was a trap, in my opinion, and they got me. I fell for the trap. So, again, coming off of a 911 thesis, I add in early. Now look at this 1 minute. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, and then you got the A, B, C secondary wave. Now I leaned in way too early, and I even said in the room that this is a good position to trim and add back higher, but I am not. And I thought this thing was going to fade, so I took, and it was wrong. Now my stop was, I took 75% of the position off at 902, and I took the remaining 25% of the position off at 907. That's a loser. Now, we see a nice flush here. This is not, I mean, it's not relatively nice in comparison to the range on the day, but it's a decent sign of weakness, enough for me to get in and risk against it. Okay, so now I'm starting to build back into a position, and I feel better about this because now I'm on the back of the push. Now we already have a higher high, but I'm using a micro thesis outlook on this. Now I'm really digging in and zooming in on these waves, and it might have been a little bit too much noise for me. I'm not sure because I chased a little bit here, but basically my average on this was about 906, and I stopped out at 917, just above the previous high of the lower high. So basically we're always going against the last high, and this was the only loser of the day. The risk was a little bit loose. It could have been tighter, but there was no indecisiveness. I knew that this was my stop. I knew that I was going to have it 25% layered stop strategy on the first attempt, and I knew the second attempt was a full-out cut, game over, kill switch. Now, I'm not going to keep trying to trade this thing all day. I had 2 attempts, and I failed. This is a loser, but I'm happy how I handled the risk on this because this thing went to 950. It might even have gone higher. I think it went to 942, 943, and I'm not involved with this mess. I cut the position, maintained my gains, and I'm staying in the green, right? Once we're in the green, we don't need to give it back. We don't need to turn a green day into a red day. IEA. Okay, IEA. Let's take a look. Okay, IEA was a swing. Was a swing from yesterday. I was in this position. Is my average here? Yeah. So I was fighting this thing yesterday. You guys remember, sometimes I like to fight strength. I don't like to fight strength, but you'll see me fighting strength. I fought this all day. No, this was not the stock. I'm sorry. So IE, remember this was the big runner from yesterday. I had a 301 average. Here's my average right here, and we had that flush. Remember this was the main in-play stock yesterday. This is just me taking my final target at 248, I believe. I was looking for a 252 exit yesterday, and I didn't get it, so I just held out for today. That's all that is. CDMO. CDMO. Now CDMO was a swing trade from yesterday. I was in a position. My average is 610.35. So I have a 610.35 average. This is the one where I was fighting the front. I was small red. Now it's either small green or small red when we fight the front. It's never big red, praying and hoping at the mercy of the market that we get the backside. If I can maintain a small red or small green front side short position and I can carry that over, now I'm going to be in the backside. The more backsides I can catch, the better off I'm going to be when it comes time to do whatever I want. So I take some profit here relatively quick because I want to get in the money. I was small red yesterday on this, so I take some profit. I turn the trade into a green trade, and I bring my stop down right at yesterday's close. Basically forcing a small green trade or a wash trade. Now I have a target set. These targets were all set at pre-market, as you can see. This target was 577. I also have a 553 and a 541 all-out exit strategy. So this was a great trade as well. And that is it, guys. That's the last trade right there. I was just double checking. Today was a great day. We were green. We were in 246 positions. We had one loss. We handled risk pretty well. And we're talking about our trades in the Wolf Trading Room. Here's the fundamental analysis room. And let's go ahead and take a look at the runners. Now, if you guys want to come take a look, we have all of the charts from the trades, and we have other traders as well posting their charts. We give each other feedback, we give each other support, and we call each other out. If we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, one of the guys in the room is going to let us know. It's all about just getting that 1% better every single day. All right, guys, so here's the runners. Here's what's going to be in play tomorrow. RBZ, CDMO, MAXR. MAXR had a strong close. It's in a strong trend. We'll definitely be watching this. Has a larger float though, larger outstanding shares. BPTH is the exact opposite. They're in a downtrend. They're weak. They just had a pop. They have a really small float. I think like 2.8 million outstanding shares, and I believe they just had a 1-for-20 reverse split this year. MDJH. Now, I didn't play this today. I don't know too much about the name, but I know that the range on it and the extension is legit. So this will be in my notebook, and I will be doing some research with this. Actually, I'll probably have some dinner, and I'll be looking at the books on this one right now after the video. KPTI, look at this. This thing is just very strong. Again, I don't know too much about this. I don't have levels on this yet. This is the only stock I've added in the runner's room without levels. But I will be watching this, and I will be studying this tonight. OVID, we're pushing. This is a day 2 push. Now, this interests me. This is going to be on watch. TIRG or TIGR. That's also in the room. TIGR, which we talked about. And this is the weapons room. Now, say BPTH. Now, say if I want to come into the room and see every single time that this stock ran, here it is on 7/2/19. Here it is on 6/11/19. So I can come in this room and I can look and see every time BPTH ran, and I can see how the 1-minute front side volume profile looks, which is amazing, right? This is why I call it the weapons room. And with that said, I want to wish you guys a fantastic day. Enjoy your evening. Get some study time in, and give us a look over at Wolf Trading. We would love to have more people in the room, and we would love to watch this community grow as it is. And everyone in the room is just really excited, and we're all getting 1% at least better every day. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Take care.